Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying with us. On the other end, if you have joined us, a very big welcome. The topic for discussion this evening is the upcoming general election. If you've been watching us, you would know that just before we went on break, the debate was getting rather heated. So just as well that we had a break. And now that we are back, I'm going to go straight back to Josh. Josh and Ruhul Amin were having a heated debate. So what was the last point that you were making, Josh?
I think the point we were making was around kind of promises made in politics, and we just spoke about how Boris Johnson can't be trusted with the commitments he makes, because look at the track record that's come out. The Supreme Court says...
Can the Liberals be trusted?
Well, the Liberal Democrats are being super clear on our policy on Brexit.
What do you think? Are they being super clear?
I mean, thank you for asking. I think it's a joke, honestly. Lib Dems cannot
right,
be
fair
trusted.
enough.
Lib Dems,
what do you think?
How opportunities they are.
Can the
they
Liberals
went
be trusted?
A coalition.
Hang on, gentlemen. Can the Liberals be trusted?
You don't have to take my opinion.
No,
it's very
of course.
clear. They want to revoke Article 50. They want to renegade on the decision that was delivered by 17.5 million voters.
Thank you. Can the Liberals be trusted?
Well, of course, because I'm a Liberal Democrat. So
you're a Liberal Democrat as well.
I cannot go against that. I'm a diversity officer for my local party. The thing is, there is who can be trusted? That point only can be cleared by our voters, right? We have seen many parties coming into the politics. We have seen Rulbai was coming up with a list of 10, 20 points of what are the promises Lib Dem broke. If you want to talk about, we can talk about. I have mentioned that in my many previous television shows about
let me put this to you.
Lib Dem.
Let me put this to you. I think we've come a long way, and we are running short of the program time. And I've got rather 2 or 3 more questions that I want to really get through and get your opinion. We can go on talking about the upcoming general election until the cows come home, and we can score our brownie points. But in view of what has happened, and especially as a result of the Supreme Court ruling, do you think that there needs to be a clear law stroke procedure stroke guideline in terms of suspending the Parliament and the maximum time limit, etc.?
I think the point is yes. I mean, during the break we are talking about the written constitutions. I probably will not say that we need a written constitution, because we have a history of...
So you think that there is a need for it?
They definitely need a guideline.
Thank you. Let me ask Ruhul, what do you think?
Yeah, personally, there is way. I think it's high time the country needs. I'm all for a constitution, written constitution, because the law, as it is, it can be very vague in many ways. Law is interpreted, one way at High Court in England. We've seen it recently, and another way in Scotland. So therefore, I think we see in other countries where when they have a written constitution, things tend to work much more better. So I'm actually for a high constitution.
Thank you. Murshid, what do you think?
Absolutely. I think the recent events have demonstrated that we need to have a written constitution in place where there is a clear hierarchy of law in place, setting out clear guidelines on the important areas of law governing our public life. So I think it's high time we do have a written constitution. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this government is trying to deliver on people's verdict, and it is going to be...
We'll come back to people's verdict
versus
later.
Parliament.
Let me ask Josh. Josh, do we need to have a clear law or a guideline, call it whatever you want, in terms of our constitution?
Well, this government maybe does. In the past, every government's gone absolutely fine.
But I think in terms of the High Court ruling, it is a clear indication that we need to have clear procedures in place, which dictates what is the maximum length of time that Parliament can be suspended for, and the reason why it should be suspended.
No, I think
clearly this was not the case, which is why we got into the mess that we have now.
I think what we need are prime ministers and governments who respect Parliament. We've never needed a written constitution before. The only reason that this debate has come up is because we now find ourselves with a Prime Minister who's willing to break the law, who's willing to subvert Parliament. He spoke about taking back control or taking back parliamentary sovereignty, yet he tries to bypass it. and take that control away from the Parliament and give it back to him. This Prime Minister maybe needs a written constitution. This Prime Minister needs some integrity
But
and
of
some
course,
values.
it's not just the Prime Minister that's been perhaps misleading, but
the rest of his cabinet.
The monarch had also been put into a very embarrassing position. Now, unless and until we have a clear guidance written in black and white, it won't be as simple as it seems to be.
I think there's a case for a debate about whether we need a written constitution or not. I think we should have that debate. I also think we should have a debate about how we improve integrity in politics. Because if Boris Johnson had more of that, there would be no need to be discussing whether or not we need a written constitution. It would not have been violated, and nor would Parliament.
Okay, talking about constitution, let's just move away from that. And I think we need to talk about parties, manifestos, and what they are going to do. So let me give the benefit of doubt to Momshed first, since they are the government party, if I may say so.
Just.
If we are to go in a general election, what would be the Tory party's manifesto for the next 5 years or so?
Well, we know based on some of the announcements that has been coming forth, we have already earmarked 25 billion in infrastructure investment, and that is going to rejuvenate not just our infrastructure but economy at a local level.
Is that
and
these deliverable?
Absolutely, they have been fully costed, by the way. So these are not numbers that have been conjured out of thin air in the same way Jeremy Corbyn has, where he has this imaginary tree which he can shake and money will just land.
Tell
on
us a
his
little
feet.
bit more about your manifesto, because obviously I want to get through.
We also
just the
have
important
committed.
ones.
We have also committed 19,000 additional police recruits over the course of 5 years.
Okay.
And that is going to obviously give a visible police presence in our communities and restore law and order.
So the Tories have finally come to their sense, because they were the ones. They were the ones that cut the police forces,
I
didn't
think
they?
what you're inferring is the austerity. Now,
No, it's not
if you
so much
remember,
this-
the reason why we had austerity is because the Labour government ran the economy of this country to ground. What was the note your Treasury Secretary left?
Okay, you will answer that when we get to him. But
Do you
make
remember that? I remember that very vividly.
Make points about
There's
no,
no
hang
money
on.
left.
Hang on, make points about your manifesto. So we've talked about the police, we've talked about, what was the first? 23 billion, is it?
25 billion.
25 billion, right. For the roads and infrastructures, yeah?
Infrastructures.
Yeah.
We have already earmarked 2.5 billion for Brexit preparations. More fundings are on its way. We have also announced various policies to actually encourage entrepreneurship. We have also made a policy announcement.
What about
to increase
housing?
the
What about
minimum
housing,
wage
jobs?
over the next 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's gone from, I think, 850 to 1050.
Minimum
over the
wage, yeah?
Exactly.
Okay.
And if you remember, it was our policy to put the minimum wage in place, and who was against it? It was the Labour Party that vehemently argued against minimum wages, because they said it will wreak havoc on the economy, and it hadn't. So it's not the first time Labour Party has
anything
been
else
wrong
in
on
your
policy
anything
areas,
else in your
and it's not
manifesto
going to be the
before I
last.
move on to the next person?
Pardon?
Anything else in your manifesto before I move on to the next person?
And the most important thing is we are going to deliver Brexit, which is what the people of this country want.
What's your policy on housing?
The housing policy is very clear. We need to build more houses.
Right.
And for that, you need a growing economy and you need growing wages. And the only way you can actually grow an economy by encouraging entrepreneurship, by encouraging an open economy,
I think
by
you forgot about
cutting
the
red tape, which is
Thank
Labour
you.
is firmly against.
Thank you. Let me go to the Liberal men. What is your manifesto, Josh?
So I should start by saying an election hasn't been called yet, so a formal manifesto will be released at the point of the election.
Of course,
but let me tell you about
in preparation, shall we say?
Yeah, let me tell you about some of the things going forward that we believe in. The first point I've mentioned already. In the event that we form a majority government, we will revoke
Highly
Article
unlikely.
50. Yeah,
Okay.
that's one of our policies. Another one that is very
Is this an incentive for the voters to vote for your party then?
Well, if they believe in staying in the European Union, if they believe in avoiding a no-deal Brexit, if they believe in preserving the rights of those people from the European Union that are contributing to our economy here, if they believe, say, take like Canary Wharf, that's not far from where we're broadcasting today, many of those jobs there that the borough of Tower Hamlets relies on are on the financial services sector that thrives if we are members of the European Union.
I work in the financial services, by the way.
What else?
And it will have zero impact. Let me tell you this.
Hang on. Gentlemen, what else is in your manifestos, or what else is likely to be in your manifesto?
Well, something that is particularly dear to me, I run a social enterprise in Tower Hamlets, supporting young people away from crime and towards employment. And one of the things involves investing in youth services to ensure that young people have opportunities. In terms of the point that was just made, though, about the financial services sector relying on the European Union, I'm not quite sure what world you're...
What's your policy on housing? Because we need to move on. I'm running out of time.
Well, without
so
question,
just give me a list.
Without question, we need to build more houses. But on an energy front as well, and the environment, it's really important that we retrofit our houses with the right kind of insulation, grade C insulation, which will mean that houses are more energy efficient and we can protect the environment.
Okay. Anything else that's of important?
In terms of the economy, we believe in investing in core infrastructure, whether it's roads, schools and hospitals, in order that we can provide the public services to people that they need.
Thank you. Rule by Labour parties and their future manifestos likely to be on what?
Thank you for the question. Obviously, as you know, the manifesto isn't out yet.
No, of course.
So some of the key pledges which was pledged in the recent conference, I'm going to actually mention those. First of all, the Sure Start program for the nursery children.
Right.
We will restart that.
Sure Start.
Free nursery education for all 2 to 4 year olds. And also scrap Ofsted and have a new system where there is a better way of managing and reviewing the schools in the country.
So what are you going to replace Ofsted with?
A different body.
The local authority, you're going to empower the local
And how much is that going to cost the government?
The costings, personally, I don't know at this moment.
Right,
Okay.
So it's not fully costed. Let's assume
no, it is costed. Look, even during the last, in 2000,
this is
during the last election when the party had the manifesto, the IFS said...
Momshed is saying that this is a Christmas
he needs to go and see Santa Claus
with his scrapping option, by the way, was
in 2017, Durusbai, our manifesto was the best manifesto, and it was actually confirmed by the IFS, Institute of Financial Studies.
Do you want to give
figures down the spine? Can I just add a few? So first of all, we will make sure one of our biggest pledges is make sure that Boris Johnson and his cronies don't actually crash out of Europe. Okay, we will make sure that we come out with a better deal.
Better European.
That is the most important thing for us today.
So you're committed to leaving the European Union with a deal?
And then arguing against that deal.
With the deal, yeah. We are actually
but I
for
thought you
it.
said earlier that you were potentially keen to remain. I don't understand.
No. The current position of the party is we are actually for a Brexit with a deal.
What do you not understand? It's a convoluted position.
Well, this
is clear.
It's not very difficult. Do you want to leave or do you want to remain in the European Union?
Our position, like I said, I've said this few times already.
Do you want to leave or remain? It's a really clear...
It's a binary option,
Basically, the position is that we want to leave with a better deal that
so
works for Britain.
So you want to leave the European Union?
Yeah, leave the
European Union.
So what about
with
the
a better
second
deal?
referendum? Then what's
not
that
without
going
a
to do?
deal. Yeah, so am I clear?
You want to leave the European
so can I just
Union
move on?
Those way.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. So basically, the other key pledges that have been made recently in the conference is we will end this spiraling cost of school uniforms and equipment, because we are seeing children up and down the country not being able to buy their own school uniforms. Since the Tories came into power in 2010, more than 2 million people have gone to food bank, which is a shame. We live in the 5th richest country. Honestly, I can go on and on.
Which you need bankrupt, by the way, when you're in government.
And then we will establish a comprehensive cooperative university. Which will...
What's your policy on housing and NHS?
Housing, obviously, during the last 10-year Labour government tenure, we have built the most number of houses since World War II. We will continue to do that.
Will you allow the council to build more social housing?
Definitely.
Or would you be selling council land to housing associations.
We will be actually building
and let
more
them
councils.
build.
We will be. This is crystal clear. That's why I'm sure you've seen the recent conference. The party has pledged that we will be building thousands and thousands up and down the country. We will make it easy for the council to actually
council will be building
release empty
social
land.
housing.
Yes, social housing. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Our party itself is a socialist party, so
Right.
naturally we will build housing.
It's really important.
You can interject. Go on.
Yes.
The health service. Sorry,
Thank you very much.
Look, I never spoke.
Okay, just quickly make your
I
point.
never
and
spoke
then
one
he is
day I was
entitled-
speaking. So
he
you
is
have to give me
entitled to
that.
interject.
So you have to
Okay,
give me
fine.
that time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Look,
Okay.
the health service was one of the
Let's give rules by
babies
the
of the party. Our party founded National Health Service. Our party founded the housing, social housing program. So, and under this government, they decimated the health service.
Thank you.
Doctors are leaving
Thank
in
you.
droves.
Thank you. I need to go
We
on to
need
this
to-
gentleman and then come back to these two. What is your opinion? Because
Well,
you two obviously share
Yeah, those but we
the
share
same common
definitely,
ground,
Josh,
which I wasn't aware
Josh
of.
has
but go
already
on.
said what
Yeah.
we. I mean, I would like to focus more on what he said, in a sense of like, obviously the party is focusing more on social enterprises is because of the recent incidents that has increased the number of crimes and drugs users. So
Yeah.
we want to rely more on social enterprises to
Yeah.
give a better life, beautiful
Yeah.
life to the people,
Yeah.
young people, because
Yeah.
they are the next generation. Second
Okay.
is that in terms of social housing, I think since last 2-3 years, I personally was campaigning in Tower Hamlets as
Yeah.
well, and Josh will agree with me that when we mean social housing, we really mean social housing. And I would like to remind Labour and my Conservative colleagues as well that we would not like to give the opportunity to Popular Harker, those who knows Popular
Look,
Harker
let's
better.
not mention
that's
Popular
one.
Harker
Second
because
is
they are not
also
here to
we
defend
have
themselves.
Another point is that legalizing the cannabis is because at this moment this is what is creating a huge chaos in terms of the crimes and the drugs. So we want to bring that back into.
So you want to legalize cannabis?
We want to legalize the cannabis because we have proven records. If you looked into the Canada and other countries,
and I'm really glad. And I'm really glad that the Lib Dems are now going back.
And when you talk about
on their foundation policies, which is soft on crime.
Yeah, when you are talking about
we are very clear
the
where
figures,
the
whether
Lib
it is generated or
they
not.
want to
When Sajid
decriminalize drugs.
Hang on.
When Sajid Javid announced today in his conference speeches, he was very applauded by his colleagues, where he was saying that the national wages is going to increase to £10.50 from 21 years onwards, and I appreciate that. You know why? It's because he's not going to spend a single penny from his pocket, because this is what the companies, the enterprises are going to pay. Second point, what he is saying is that bringing broadbands to the buses, infrastructures, and this and that. He's not going to do that. He's going to rely on the industries.
To stimulate the economy. So
if I'm correct, I remember you said to my colleagues that he works in the financial sector, which I respect as well. But you cannot ignore the people, those who are working in the financial sector.
You're saying the promises that he made won't be actually costing the government a penny, but it will come out of
exactly. And to be honest,
industries.
And to be honest, in his conferences, he was crucified by the media by saying that, do you have a clear idea what exactly is going to cost to deliver the Brexit? And as an exchequer, he hasn't got the idea of the amount, and he is going to deliver what he is promising.
Thank you.
I do not
because Momshad indicated right. As an exchequer, he doesn't have an idea. Do you agree with that?
It's absolutely preposterous. The reason why that is absolutely preposterous because we have a Department of Brexit, right? We also have issued policy papers, particularly focusing on different sectors and what the potential impact could be, and what are the provisions and safeguards that we need to put in place to weather the storm, and they have been fully costed. Initially, we have earmarked 2.5 billion, and there are new funding coming along to make sure that we are prepared for
because
Brexit.
I've only got 2 minutes left.
Brexit. The other thing I want to know,
in terms of your Brexit preparations, you know what you are doing. You even don't know how much it's going to cost to us, but you're actually spending £100 million.
Thank you.
Delivering the message.
Thank you.
You have to extend me the courtesy because I didn't interject when you were making a point.
Make your point very quickly because we are running out of time.
What Ruhul Bhai said about when he was reading out this long list of Labour policies, one policy area I want to lift up is the fact that Jeremy Corbyn has now committed to abolishing free market on the NHS. What he wants to do is actually create a company that manufactures drugs. In other words, he wants to do away with the free market. Free market is one of the cornerstones of a free democracy. He wants to roll back the time, take us back to winter of discontent when unemployment was high, inflation was high, this country's finance was teetering on the brink, and this is the kind
So
of
you're
politics
saying that the
he
Labour
espouses
policies
to. The
will go back
Labour
to that?
politics, the Labour politics is the politics
Thank
of
you.
the 1970s.
Ruelbai, do you want to
politics.
quickly,
Yeah,
do you want to
yeah,
quickly
yeah,
address
no,
this?
this is
I don't
the
have much
politics
time.
based
Very
on-
quickly.
Labour
address that.
when we were in power from 1997 to 2010, okay, most of the pledges we made, we managed to sort of deliver. Okay,
No, you
and
didn't.
in terms of
You bankrupted our nation's
in
economy.
terms of this issue you just mentioned,
very quickly, 30 seconds, because I have to finish.
we all the policies or pledges that we are making for the future are public friendly, country friendly. So naturally, any government would
And
want
it
to
needs
do
to be
things.
costed. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Obviously,
I'm sorry,
no.
Josh, I couldn't come back to you.
Well,
But-
no deal, no idea.
No ideas, right?
Hopeless
Okay,
with,
you've all made your
no
points.
trust, yeah. No
Thank you
deal,
all
no
for
idea.
coming along to my show. No doubt we will have more programs on this subject, and I will invite all of you to come back again to continue with this debate.
It's
In the
been a
meantime,
pleasure.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching the program. Please keep well, keep safe until we see you again. Assalamu alaikum. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.